The Abuja evening breeze blew gently over the rooftop of the event center where Apostle Joshua Selman had just concluded a powerful night of worship and word. The crowd had thinned, and only a few dedicated protocol officers remained, cleaning up and ensuring that everything was in order. The apostle was known not only for his powerful teachings and prophetic insights, but also for his gentle nature and deep communion with God. Back in his office suite at the venue, Apostle Selman sat alone for a moment, praying softly and thanking God for the evening service. A knock came at the door. "Yes, come in," he said calmly. A beautiful young woman stepped in. She was dressed modestly, her smile radiant, and her presence captivating. Her name was Laura. She had been introduced as a volunteer who helped with logistics, and she carried a tray with a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice. "Sir, one of the ushers asked me to bring this to you." "It's from the hospitality team," she said sweetly. He looked at her and gave a warm smile. "Thank you, my dear." But as she turned to leave, something stirred in his spirit. A sudden stillness, followed by the voice of the Holy Spirit. "Do not drink it." Apostle Selman paused and looked down at the glass. Then he stood up slowly. "Laura," he called. She stopped mid-step, nervousness flashing across her face. "Yes, sir." He walked toward her, holding the glass but not drinking. "Who sent you to bring this to me?" She blinked. "The hospitality team." "Tell me the truth," he said, this time with a different tone. A prophetic weight now filled the air. Suddenly, tears welled up in her eyes. Her hands trembled. "I didn't mean to," she began, then broke down. "I didn't want to do it. They forced me." "Who?" he asked softly, setting the glass down untouched. She fell to her knees. "Some men, some people who hate you. They said if I didn't do it, they would ruin my family. They gave me something to mix into your drink. I didn't want to do it." The room fell silent. Apostle Selman knelt beside her. "My daughter, you were being used. But God exposed it." She sobbed as he placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "You are forgiven? But we must deal with this spiritually." He helped her up and sat her down. Then he called in his trusted intercessors and security team. The drink was taken for testing, later confirmed to contain traces of a dangerous toxin. That night, the intercessors gathered. Apostle Selman, though visibly calm, was deeply moved in prayer. He knelt on the altar and cried to God, not just for protection, but for the downfall of those who continually sought to destroy the work of the Lord. "They plot evil, but you, O Lord, frustrate the tokens of liars," he prayed aloud. He then lifted his hand and declared, "Every force that has risen to bring down this assignment, let their counsel be turned to foolishness. Let their foundations shake, and may their schemes crumble. As for this young woman, Lord, heal her heart. Deliver her from the clutches of evil. Make her a vessel for your glory." The news never made it to the press. Apostle Selman refused to go public, believing that vengeance belonged to God. But heaven had already moved. 3 days later, one of the men who orchestrated the plot was arrested in a scandal involving embezzlement and conspiracy. Another fled the country, exposed in a different criminal case. The organization that funded the operation was shut down after a divine leak of incriminating documents. It was divine judgment. Quiet, swift, and undeniable. Meanwhile, Laura was undergoing a complete transformation. Apostle Joshua Selman enrolled her in a discipleship program under a female mentor in the ministry. She gave her life to Christ fully and began testifying of how the enemy had once used her, but God rescued her from destruction. At a leadership conference months later, Apostle Selman shared a portion of the story, not with names, but to teach on discernment and the mercy of God. "I almost drank poison sent by enemies," he said, pausing for effect. "But the voice of the Spirit rescued me. And that young lady who brought it, today, she's one of our rising evangelists." The hall erupted in praise. The hall erupted in praise. One evening, as he prepared to preach in Lagos, Laura approached him again. This time, she was radiant, not just in appearance, but with the joy of the Lord. "Daddy," she said, using the affectionate term his spiritual children called him, "thank you for forgiving me." He looked at her with kindness. "It wasn't me who saved you. It was God. And you were never the enemy. You were a victim. But now you're victorious." That night, she shared her testimony at the conference, and hundreds gave their lives to Christ. In the end, the enemy's plan had backfired. Where death had been planned, life came forth. Where shame was expected, glory emerged. And where destruction was plotted, revival broke out. Because when the anointed are targeted, God does not sleep. And when a servant of the Lord walks in discernment, no weapon formed can prosper. And though the poison never touched his lips, Apostle Joshua Selman's faith grew even stronger. His prayers grew deeper. And his love, for even those who tried to destroy him, shone as a light in the dark. Father, forgive them, but frustrate the hand behind them. Justice, mercy, and power, all in one divine move.